They scared to come outside. Tell them boys they better pray. Tell them boys stay out the way. On my mama, on my gang, I'ma put it in their face. Yeah. Oh. Want to spy on somebody real quick? Hold on. Be very quiet. We're going to be hunting Australians. Shh. You can't scream loud in the morning if you want to sneak up on an Australian, because them fuckers, they're on a different time. They're in a different time continuum. Hold on. Shh.
Is much cheaper, because then you don't need a fancy casket. You can just buy a cardboard box, right?
Shh.
I'm going to tell you. Betty said, damn, I was going to punch a cane and take a dump. That's what he said. He's going to come over and say hello. Yeah, I reckon I'll be happy with the river or a tree. Peekaboo. There's Benny. Hey, Benny. And we have had such a colourful fucking conversation here tonight. It's just crazy. I'm pretty sure you don't want to sit through 3.5 hours of us all sitting here yakking away about
She doing my Route 66 thing. Hey, Rebel Ridge Runner, Kathy B, Wildflower. I had a dump. Aussie's talking shit.
Streaming my stream. Streaming my stream. Isn't that a song with you? I'm sure it is. We've come up with some good material here, Benny. We've decided that we've been sitting here thinking of, you know, how you've got the fuck you mean sort of thingo. Yeah. So we're going to go with back the fact.
Back the fact.
I have to get Rebel to type it again because I
can't remember it already.
Type it again, Rebel. I forgot. Damn it. Back the fact, ask up. Back the fact, ask up. Did I get it right?
Back the fact up. Back the fact up. All right, guys.
See, I got it wrong. I told you I have to write it down. I get a shocking memory.
Fact that ass up. All right, Aussie, I got to get to it. I love you, gal. Payal. All right. What is shaking? Smells like eggs and bacon. What's up, y'all? So, man, to everybody, man, keep your head up like your nose is bleeding, man. Ain't shit to be sorry about. Ain't shit to be feeling downtrodden about. None of that, guys. So, lot of interesting developments. Hold on. So, all right, guys. It is pretty early this morning. So, the thing with Mary, man, I'm in a time continuum. That was last night, right? Let me see. That was last night, right? Yeah, that was last night. Wow, man, I slept so hard. I woke up and it was like, holy shoot. Then it's like you slept 2 days. So Okay. So, okay. All right, Pamela. So this morning, how's everybody doing? Let me turn this diggity dang on chat on, man. How's everyone doing this morning? I just have just a few-ish style updates. Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Dee Dee. Ah, it is late, isn't it? I know you're Machaca. Hey, Elizabeth Hernandez. I don't think she said storm the Capitol. Well, I lost connection for a minute. For fuck's sake. Hey, Haunted. Hey, Dawn. Dawn, I that's the way that I took it, Dawn. I was just like, whoa, hold on. Hey, Lizzie. I was just like, hold on, man. That's just too random. Like, I think that I think the general consensus decided that she had potentially said storm the Capitol. So that's what I heard. And I don't feel like I was, I wasn't curved any sort of way to feel anyway. I don't know. One Shot Scott, sup, bro? It's Friday night in Melbourne. All right, so morning banjo. I used to see. Sure will. Lizzie, where the flip is Lizzie at? Elizabeth Hernandez. Orderly. So, guys, what I want to tell you is that in light of all the things that are going on online, now I also want to start by prefacing it by saying that, hey, Francine, that I love Cher, I love Mark, I love Cam, I love Allie. Although we can work together, we all have separate ideologies, and what it is proof and concept that people can get together with differing ideologies, come together and make something happen, right? So, and I'm not judging anybody at all. That's not what I'm doing. Dee Dee, I am feeling A-okay. So hold on, where are we at here? So hold on, I need to get one more thing. Here it is. So, again, I'm not talking bad about anyone. I'm not downing anyone. What I'm saying is that I stay my course. Everybody knows that I stay my course. I'll mess around with whoever's messing around. Now, guys, what I'm going to say, what I'm going to ask you guys is, we're not going to this because this situation has developed in the way that it looks like it has online. This is still a safe place. This is a safe place for Don and Candace, guys. This is not. So, moderators, please. We're not going to play into the what everyone else is doing. And when I say everyone else, what I'm saying everyone else, I'm not referring to Mark and Cher. I mean the rest of the internet, right? Because to me, Cher and Mark are exempt. I feel like they, fuck. So, slightly the date on my end because my internet is shit today. Sorry to hear that. So, what I want to tell you is well, I just want to say that Don and Candace are okay. They're okay. There's been, there's been a lot of bullshit going on, right? Like let me ask you this. How long, as human beings who are in the middle of a tragedy, how long should we allow people to play on our names and fucking, call the municipalities and all the fucking, every corner of the civic world, the civic arena has been called on them. Who I? They're fine, guys. I assure you. Okay? They're fine. So, moving on. So, that's where we are with that, guys. Don and Candace are fine. At what point do you not fuck with the very community that's fucking you over too? Fuck me, right? Now, what I want to do real quick is I want to show just some of the situations that some of the people online who are content creators are like, oh my God, done it. Let me show you just a little bit about some of the people that are doing the same thing to Don real quick. All right. So we've got, for instance, the one that really sticks in my craw is No Thanks. And I think it's just because of the disgusting nature of how, of how he does it. Right. So his name is No Thanks. Watch this. So what these guys do is they will play with the internet. They'll play with the internet in order to elicit a response, right? So right here, AV Watchman missing. So then we'll go over here and go. So these guys just fuck around, right? Now, let me show you. Let me give you a little segue into No Thanks, AB, and a couple of others. Oh, look, there's my picture right there. Masshole Report. Who are they? Doug Button. So here's No Thanks.
We are back now with our 17 follow-up file. It has been 77 days now since Orrin and Orson West were reported missing from their home in California City. There's been a lot of rumors and some misinformation surrounding this investigation. 17's Perla Shaheen is in studio tonight with what police have to say. Perla?
Well, Jim, this case has caused a lot of infighting between members of the public who feel deeply connected to the boys. This civil war has caused the spread of many rumors online that sometimes are harmless, but not always. Today marks 2.5 months since 3-year-old Orson and 4-year-old Orrin West were reported missing.
The facts of the case are still going forward. The boys have not been located, and there has been no arrests made.
Bakersfield Police Department is now the lead agency on the case. Around 50 officers and FBI agents searched for evidence in a dirt lot near the Casa Loma apartments on Saturday. But they've given...
Bear with me, guys. Bear with me.
Been no information on developments in the investigation.
On a daily basis, there's case movement, there's interviews that occur, there's items of evidence that are searched.
This leaves time for the public to speculate, and that speculation results in online arguments and finger pointing.
I get it. These guys believe that they're trying to make a difference and they're trying to help us out. But it appears to me that they're just fighting with each other.
One YouTuber, Doug Hutton, accused the
No thanks.
neighbor of the adoptive parents in California City of being connected to the boys' disappearance. That neighbor then put pictures of Hutton all over the adoptive parents' house, along with a banner asking Doug Hutton, "Where are the boys?" On Friday, Hutton saw the postings and took them down.
Then he went to the neighbor's house, was walking around at the neighbor's house. One of the people who lives in that house showed up. They had a confrontation in the street. We responded and had to deal with the confrontation. And he ended up going to jail because he had some outstanding misdemeanor warrants.
Police say
Yeah, that's not the half of it. I'm not going to bore you with all of this for very long. What I'm doing is I'm painting a parallel, correct? Hua? So,
It's hard.
And so Mike gets home, and guess what Doug does?
Goes at it.
The same thing he did with that girl in Moore Park at that Motel 6. Doug beat her ass, and then he beat up himself and blamed her. So guess what Doug did? Doug grabbed a big-ass knife out of his van, and he cut himself and blamed it on Mike.
All under CCTV?
All in front of fucking cameras, bro.
Oh, please get me that footage. Can I release that?
So the cops just arrested.
all right, guys. So, that's one of our searchers. Hua. What am I doing here? Oh, damn, I should have pulled it up. So this is another one of our helpers right here. We've had a lot of talk about Don B, right? So Don B is a professional ambulance chaser, right? Don B is just always trying to catch a fucking case, right? So here's Don B. Don Buchanan contracted COVID-19 and took 2 weeks off from his job in Tennessee. He was unsure whether he was eligible for paid leave. This is the Wall Street Journal, guys, like the real one. That's his wife. Workers exhaust time off options as COVID-19 and care issues compound. All right, so look at that. I don't know how we'd maintain the household bills and get my son. We're talking about the same son that these people suppressed in SA. Right? Now, this isn't going to be a long live, guys. I just, I don't have a lot to say in regards to that. Now, let me pull this up real quick. So I showed you that about Don B, right? So you know what? I'm not going to do that. I've been on Don B's helmet enough. So what we're going to do here now is I want to talk about what happened last night on TIR. Hua.
her experience.
This is fair use, Mr. McDonough. If you don't like it, you kiss both sides of my whole entire ass. I wish you would copyright strike me with all the bullshit you got going on. Give me that address, sir. Anyone that doesn't know, if someone copyright strikes you, they got to hit you with that address and with that phone number. So, fair use disclaimer. Fair use disclaimer. Oop. I'm still tired, man. Fair use disclaimer is a doctrine in the United States copyright law that allows of copyrighted material without requiring permission from the rights holders, such as for commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, teaching, and or a scholarship. So, I listened to this bullshit last night, and what I had to have somebody do was give me the time stamps, because I literally can't listen to that man's voice. I can't do it. It just is physically, like water running uphill. Like, I can't fuck with that man in his voice. It doesn't have anything to do with his voice or, his inability to correct the lisp. I mean, that's not my concern. It is just the very vulgar fucking garbage that spews out of this fucking cocksucker's mouth. I'm sorry about my language. I'm going to keep the fucking tone down, but I'm not going to keep from calling him a cocksucker. That is clearly the face of a real cocksucker. Right? So, what this fucking cocksucker... Let me just go over here and see how that word is being received. Okay, so the word cocksucker is not really fucking anything up too bad. So this cocksucker, he deposes another situation out of Don that should be kept in a vacuum for a criminal court, if that's what he really wants, right? So we do have a phenomenon, right? We have a phenomenon with Chris, and it's called exoneration rate. Now, typically the people that worry about exoneration rates are prosecutors, DAs. Judges have a real concern in terms of exoneration rates, but Chris has a fucking exoneration rate. What is exoneration, Benny? What could it be, Benny? Exoneration. Hoo! So, exoneration rates. Exoneration rates, guys, are the rates that detectives have on the other side of the convictions, right? So let's say Chris actually put somebody in jail in all of his fucking goings-ons. Now, I am going to clear something up. A lot of people think... Hold on, I didn't get my coffee made. I'm tripping. A lot of people think that Chris M. was actually a detective on the Michael Crow case. We're not going to stay here long. He was not. He was a consultant that came over from Escondido just to run the fucking voice analyzer. Right? Like, they're like, listen, we want you to cook noodles, but don't touch the sauce. This fool couldn't keep from tasting and touching the sauce. So what happened? He brought over this fucking thing called a voice stress analyzer, right? Well, first of all, let me tell you this. Chris is not an SA expert. What Chris is an expert in is SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. Now, I do find that a very, very, very useful tool for Chris to have, so as he doesn't fuck up in charge of family who's had a child die of natural unexplained causes. So Chris can't put them fucking people in jail just one after another, just a fucking dump truck load at a time, right? So Chris wasn't even a fucking detective at that time. He was a voice stress analyzer. Like he was a fucking consultant, right? Like the polygraph guy, right? Like the polygraph guy is the polygraph guy. Then you got the fingerprint guy. Then you got the shell casing guy, right? We're not talking about real exclusive fucking work that puts you on the street and shit. Now, holy cow. So what we know is I'm sorry. So, what I'm going to tell you guys is that this used to be the crew. Well, not the crew, but these two guys used to be thick as thieves. Okay? Now, due to some professional malfeasance, dereliction, or whatever, these two now, this guy dropped this guy. He grabbed a sock full of shit and he hit the dude over the head. And he's like, homie, don't play that shit. I don't know what the fuck you got going on, sir, but you ain't going to be doing it over here. Right? So the issue with Chris is that Chris suffers from an inflated ego, right? Chris suffers from the sort of ego that if he fell out of a boat on a white water rafting trip, he would float, right? So what we've done is I have someone right now who has went to Oceanside PD and has went to Escondido, which is an unincorporated area in San Diego County, or I don't know what San Diego's county is. Maybe it's, I don't know. So we're gonna FOIA this this information. Now, we also have a tentative meeting set up with the current sergeant of Escondido. Very interesting because Chris's wife, she also worked at the police department. I don't know what she did quite yet, but she did it. Now, guys, I want to point out what probably is a synchronicity. Okay, we know what synchronicities are, right, guys? Synchronicities are events that happen that seem like that they're tied or connected to something else, and they seem to have a very significant meaning. Hua. Let's look that up for the new ones. You right? Okay. Actually, I'm not going to do that, guys. I'm going to wait a minute for her to get her. There you go. Your daughter's in there. Oh, okay. Anyway, so the synchronicity, guys. Synchronicity. I just got coffee going. Synchronicity. SYNC. Synchronicity are things that happen. Synchronicity. So synchronicities are incidents of spiritual significance that ask us to momentarily dampen our self-obsession and consider the possibility of the divine. Synchronistic experiences leave us with a curious sense that we should pay attention, right? So we heard the voice analysis, or at least I did. I heard the voice analysis over on So Mean Allegedly, right? And there was a part where I thought I clearly heard Candace talking about storming the Capitol. Hooah! I think we all heard that, right? What I thought was the synchronicity came in is when I uploaded the video. And then immediately after the video uploaded, somebody emailed, Honest Rage emailed me. She emailed me a link of Ernie on Live yesterday. And it was simultaneous. I mean, as soon as I made the video, I was not poking fun. None of this is funny. But what I was doing was showing the synchronicity, right? So she says, storm the Capitol. First thing I heard in my mind and saw in my mind was a picture of Ernie Shell storming the Capitol, right? We've all seen the video, or a lot of us have. Hold on. We're having an issue over here in the chat. No, I guess we're not. Damn, see? So, synchronicity. As soon as I drop the video, I get sent the link to go over to the Facebook and check out something Ernie's got going on. So I get on, I mosey my ass on over there, and I get to looking real good. And Ernie's next to a river with his fucking harem of goons. And they're staging to do a search on a hot lead for Summer Wells. And then I was like, well, I'll slap the cowboy shit out of this man. Let me show you. Or actually, let me show you this. So guess what? We got a huge tip on the Summer Wells case. Let's see what transpires. Would you like to see what transpired? That wasn't the one. Hold on, I'm gonna show you. Y'all just do your thug fizzle, man. You hear me? Ah, this fool took it down. Ain't that a bitch? Ah, this fool took it down. Hold on, I'm gonna look this real quick. Yeah, he took it down. No, here it is. Holy shit. Sorry, my coffee dripping. Benny got the drip. Hold on, guys. I want y'all to see this. All right. Figure deal me.
This is one of the bridges in question. Do what?
Prop my arm up.
Yeah, but there's no way she'd still be here. No way. I said there's no way she'd still be here. That's not what we do. I know. This is crazy. Oh, look, Swisher Sweets.
It's a tip.
Swisher Sweets keep coming up, though.
Gotta be a tip. Maybe the abductor smokes Swisher Sweets.
What is this?
Wait a fucking minute. I'm gonna take you outside. Hold on. hold the phone. Hot damn it. I left my Swisher Sweets packs laying around when I was punching cones under that bridge. I left my fucking Swisher Sweet packs laying around. So, what the fuck we gonna do about this, y'all? Now, I do have something that I need to run past this community today, sooner rather than later. So, Mr. Wells and I, we've been chatting, and Mr. Wells has asked me to see if we could get a group of men around from that area. Now, if there is anyone watching this right now that has a brother, a cousin, an uncle, we want to assist Don in being proactive in helping him do some little searches around the house there. Wow. So what we need is a call to action, right? There's probably going to be a lot of people out there that are going to be opponents to the idea that Don go searching. Now, you know, I have my own reservations about it, but I'll tell you this. If we help Don to help himself, right? We help Don to help himself. And this is what I want to tell you. It's okay for everybody else to go fucking search, right? Right? It's okay for everyone else. So what's good for the goose got to be good for the gander. So that means if all of y'all are able to go fucking search, then Don ought to be able to put together a group of men and go search a few places he would like to search. Okay? Now, because he would like to search, it doesn't mean that he's going to it with the forward thinking that this is going to be it, right? So, ladies and gentlemen who are watching in the chat right now, if you have someone in Hawkins County or in that area that would be willing to help get together, yeah, we would. We would need permission. But what I'll tell you is that Don, for the most part, has no enemies around there, right? Hua. So what I think would also be yeah, guys. Yeah, I'm aware of what Cam and Gonzo are going to do. And we just got to be careful, right? Just got to be careful. Experience goes a long way, right? Experience, right? Experience goes a long way when handling these things, right? We're not always equipped. Even after much experience, we are not always equipped to be doing certain things. Those that feel they are equipped, I applaud you. But what happens when you find out that you're not equipped after you feel you are, you fail someone. So we've got to be really careful failing these people, right? So my interest with Don will not be so that I can show all of y'all on YouTube. That's not what my interest with Don is. In fact, my interest with Don is much the opposite. I'm going to be urging Don. I am not his handler. I will not be telling him anything, the things that people say about, like, I'm just someone that he's reached out to that is going to do what I can to help, right? I did not profess to Don that I was any sort of deity. I promised Don only one thing. I promised Don that I would not put him before my God. That's what I promised Don, right? If you promise somebody you will not put them before God and they get upset, those people ain't for you. Those people aren't for you. If you tell that to somebody and they're like, "Amen, brother," then you're talking the same. You're talking the same language now, right? I don't know what the hell that was. So, hey, you. He's talking to a lot of people, lady. Why don't you beat it? You got to first come over here and interact before you can just come over here and say some old dumb shit and think that you won't just lose access to all of it. Right? I'm going to take some questions, man. How many times did Oh, wait, that reminds me. I'm sorry, guys. I ain't punched my first cone this morning, and so Elizabeth, please don't say things like that. We're not saying that over here. You can go over there and say it anywhere else, but not here. No, we're not doing none of that kind of talking, y'all. None. We are not going to be saying none of that shit. Who
I just wanted to let you know that I talked to Jeannie last night, and she told me that she was going to press charges against Donnie.
So, just that right there. Let me tell you what's wrong here. Do you want to know what police operate on? Police operate and are successful on the ideology that they have the element of surprise and that they can sneak up on someone they need to apprehend, right? Chris knows all of these things. Let me tell you what's important about a deposition. This is not, what's happening here online, people, is not, I repeat, it is not for entertainment. He's got life in the game, in the movie theater, all fucked up, right? So, what we got going on here is a man that is secretly deposing, getting secret depositions from Don online. Now, the problem is that we've heard all these other people's voices in regards to these fucking depositions. These are depositions. This shit, if any of it ever goes to a criminal court, will be subpoenaed. Not mine necessarily, but Chris M's will definitely be subpoenaed. Now, Chris M's shit is completely chocked fucking full of snares, tripwires, and landmines. Anything that these people, Allie, Hunter, so on and so forth, any of these people that have been interviewed over and fucking over, they got a problem when they go to court, if they go to court. Because God forbid you should say anything different than what's on Chris's YouTube in the court of law. Got a problem now. One of these bad witnesses that Chris has deposed over and over and over, if it goes to a criminal trial and they go to the stand, they can't tell the truth on fucking YouTube. You think they can tell the fucking truth in real life? Do you think all of a sudden they're going to go into the courtroom and be saved from the lies they told in the fucking front of this shit? No. What they've got to do now in order to fucking lock Don up is they've got to come in there and they've got to say the same fucking shit they said all the other times on camera, verbatim. Man, hit that fucking likes up button, man. I don't ask y'all for no super chats. I don't ask y'all for no fucking cash apps, PayPals, none of that shit. Right? So, if I come on here and I say there was a red truck, then later on, I come in and I say, well, it's maroon. Now, that's one of those slippery, dippery areas where you're like, was it a lie or was it something else, right? We have no way of knowing. But what I'm telling you is there's been so much power put on the depositions of Chris M. that these people that can't keep their regular daily lives in order are going to, at some point, potentially, hypothetically, be brought into a court, sat down, and then their very statement they make on the stand will be cross-referenced by what they said online. Fact. And if they tripped up on anything, now let me tell you, these conversations these people have had that have led them into these statements, depositions they put online, they were used with methods that are very leading, right? Now, what happens when you put these people, hypothetically, potentially, in the court of law, in front of a defense attorney and experts, potentially, that are going to eat that shit up? Hooah? Hey, what people are like, oh, now look at Benny. Now he's sticking up for Don again. What I'm telling you is that if Don is guilty, all this shit is not helping the plight of justice. Guess what? Justice doesn't need your fucking help except to pay your fucking taxes and show up for jury duty when you get a summons. Other than that, and if you see something on the street, report it. Call the police. Other than that, justice doesn't need any fucking help from you. It's a system. It isn't anything that one person can come in with an inflated ego and completely redesign the wheel. Chris is not redesigning the wheel. What Chris has a long standing history of is fucking with the wrong person and then letting them go. Real shit. Chris is good at fucking up look at every fucking thing. Let me tell you one thing about Chris in closing. Chris wrote a song back in the 90s, and it was called Letitia, Where Are You? And Chris monetized this song back in the 90s, right? He sold bootleg cassettes out of the trunk of his car to peers, strangers, so on and so forth. He then used that money to start an organization where he could further monetize and solicit. He's been soliciting funds from missing children cases over 20 years. Over 20 years. 22 years. He's good at this, guys. I've been doing this 7 months. How the fuck did how did I become so hip to what that man is doing in 7 months and he's been doing this 22 years? I ask you. Right? Chris, how much did Letitia's family get out of that recording, sir? Or did you use all of it? I don't know. But what you got here, guys, is that Chris M allowed his ego to first fuck up his access to this case, right? Now, if Chris was behaving like this working for Escondido, he'd be out of a job because every time he fucked off and pissed off and ran off a fucking suspect, somebody goes free. Fuck! This isn't the way you police. Chris, this is the way you make people rich. You put the wrong person in the scope, you fucking fire. I mean, you just hammer down till it clicks. Meanwhile, you're always wrong and you always let the real offender continue to fucking perpetrate. Chris, that's what you're good at. Right? Is he on the take? Was he on the take? I don't know. What's the take, Benny? The take is a cop that takes money on duty or off duty in order to make things happen on duty. I don't know. Is he working for Barry Morphew? Did he strangely help get Barry locked up on a flimsy fucking case so that he can get thrown out and help Barry walk free? I don't know. He fucked over Gonzo and Tyson Draper to do what he did. Look at Chris M. Chris M ain't fucking climbing no mountain. Who's going to climb the mountain in that relationship? I know. Gonzo, that's who. So, with Chris M, it's ego over justice. It's ego over justice. It doesn't fucking matter if the right person's in jail as long as Chris locks up the person temporarily that he has a disdain for. Hoo-ah! 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 Come on, man. I believe it's going to be a cold day in hell, unfortunately, for those victims of SA. See, Chris is saying, fuck SA right now, and fuck the victims. It's okay to say fuck SA, but it's not okay to say fuck the victims, right? You want to know why these fucking things stay Jane Doe and John Doe? It's so that it's not public, and people don't know where the accusations came from. And so that people can't be retaliated against and hurt, pressured, or intimidated before they go to court, Chris. Now, I heard in the conversation between Mary and fucking Donald last night, the only thing that Mary agreed with Don on is what? Is what? It's Chris M, right? It's Chris M, right? Huh? Huh? What they agree on? Hold on. Now, you know what a real sexual abuse or assault advocate would do? They would help garner resources that would help their situation stay in a vacuum. Right? Yeah, when you have a real disdain for someone, you'll do anything, right? You will even hurt yourself sometimes in order to get your point across to them, right? Right? At whose expense does all this happen? Whose expense? The expense of real life human beings, guys. People that get years taken from their life, they get stripped of the ability to mourn and grieve these situations. Chris's interest is not justice. Chris's interest is not advocacy of any sort. Chris's interest is to put victims online, right? Did you hear the disgust last night in that fucking piece of audio? That was really disgusting, right? Do I think that some of the content was disgusting? Of course. Yeah, I didn't like it. But at the same time, the things that came out of Mary's mouth are subject to the stringency of being credible, right? So I don't know. You know, there's been errors made. There's been errors made in this case on the investigative side that you know, that I believe that we're, you know, I believe Chris is not working for the TBI, but I believe he was able to influence them to do things which, you know, fucked up the situation. Like it's fucked up bad. It's really, really fucked up bad, right? You've got Don Bees, you've got fucking Skirny Shells, right? I mean, we've got ABs. I mean, this is just the worst of the worst, right? And you want to know what? People think I'm the bad guy. That's okay. Please let me. You never met a bad guy like this. I promise you. Yeah, like Chris can change. He just chooses not to, right? Chris, it's just like Chris is like the epitome of leaving a kid with a loaded gun, right? You just can't leave Chris around anything and turn your back on him, right? Because he's gonna fuck around and hurt somebody, or maybe even himself, right? Like the man thinks because he's fucked up 3 or 4 cases that were high profile that he's somebody still in the law enforcement world. I tell you, he's not. Right? The very officer that called me from Plano that was like, Mr. Lindsay, you've got a fucking retired dickhead that has really got the hots for you, man. Can you please just give us a break for a couple of weeks until we figure out this fucking terrorist situation we've had here in our lobby, and then you can get right back to it, because fuck that guy, right? What Chris M. tried to get the fucking Plano police to do was remove my First Amendment, remove my freedom of speech. He wanted the fucking police to come over here and stop me from YouTubing his name. And you know what he told me? He was like, man, fuck that motherfucker. Fuck him. Who does he think he is? He was like, in fact, why don't you tell him you've worked and are working with me now? Like, Chris M., sir. You want to know what you know, hold on. There was a comment made last night by Chris M. where he normalized the relations between second cousins, right? He made a comment where he was like, oh, well, they're not first cousins, so it's like okay to marry your second cousin, Chris? You're fucking disgusting, dude. You are fucking disgusting, bro. I bet at your age you still watch porn and shit when your wife ain't around, huh? Like, I believe you have to be getting off on this shit. You get off on this shit. Like, you can really see the enjoyment on this man's face while he's listening to this shit. And I don't know, I'm confused. I don't know if it's because he really hates Don this much. Like, guess what? You're not supposed to care about Don in that way, Chris. The fact that you care so much, it shows almost this personal vendetta. Like he did something to you. And you're just too pussy to say it, so you're doing this here online, man. Let me tell you what. They may have thought about bringing some cases against Don at some time, but now they just fucking have bit their nails to the quick, worrying about what the fuck Chris is going to do next to make these fucking cases unconvictable. I don't even know if that's a word, but not able to be convicted. Who did it? Chris. That's who. Yeah, guys. I don't know. You're seeing a real trend with Tyson Draper, the real Gone Gonzo, right? Many others, so on and so forth, that Chris M has fucked over. When I said I wanted to do a show called Surviving Chris McDonough, my fucking email lit up. It lit up like a big body Ford tail light. Boy, let me tell you what. That motherfucker lit up. So that will be a thing coming up here. Surviving Chris M. Now, also, guys, you want to go to the coldcasefoundation.com or .org or whatever the fuck it is. They got the founder on there. You can feel free to send him a message and be like, wow, you know, professionally, like be professional, right? You always got to remember, if you're sending an email to somebody that wears a tie during the day, like you got to be professional. You can't just, you know, you can't just come Southside gangster crip on them and shit, right? You got to fucking do it correctly. So you just say, sir, I want to make a professional complaint, right? The behavior that's being associated with your company on this man's shirt. Now, that's the other thing. We started out seeing how every time he went live, he had a cold case shirt on, right? Are we still seeing that? No, we're not still seeing that, guys. I do believe that there may have been some inference made to Chris where they're like, listen, you can't be smoking Marlboros with a Newport shirt on, sir. You cannot be doing that, right? So you got to fucking remove the shirt, right? Now, the other thing is that Chris M, what he's doing is he's using the worst of the worst online, right? Just to push in front of him, right? Because Chris thinks he can come over and put a comment on somebody's fucking channel one time, and that person will screenshot it and then post it and like, look, Chris said I'm doing a great job, right? Why the fuck would he tell you you're doing a great job? But the stranger question is why the fuck you would believe it, right? If you are just fucking shit up and somebody comes along and pats you on the back, man. Now, what I would tell someone, and I would tell someone in here, whoever you are, they've created a stupid petition to bring me offline. They can't pay change.org enough ever in the whole span of time to take away my First Amendment rights, right? And people have donated a lot of money to this cause. It's like a funny thing, right? Should we create a petition to remove Chris M? Should we? I'm feeling like we should, right? I'm feeling like we should. Hold the phone, your eyes, Clyde. Guys, I'm about to jump off of here, man. I'm sweating like an exotic dancer in church. Man, hold up. I want to show you what this here is doing. What it's looking like. Let's see. Boom. 1318. Look at that. And see, look, you're right at that 10% rule, right? You got 13,000 views, but 1,300 supporters. That's the way it just always works. But look, they're still piling in, guys. You know, we're still doing it, right? This is still a thing. Now, I want to let you know that we have an appointment made with Monkey Mars. She has some ideas that she wants to run past everyone in the community on making some additions to the petition. She also has the master list of all the lawmakers. So she also has some sort of template on how to put together a video to address them with as well. So there's going to be some new things coming up. I want to thank Lizzie for that. So anyways, guys, I'm going to jump off here for now. I'm going to go do some research, answer some emails, answer some messages, and you will probably see me back around lunchtime, right? All right, guys. So remember, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. I will see you shortly. God bless.